everyone, welcome back to the chaos. And as you can see here, I just got back from Anime Expo, woo! And here are my new friends who will be special guesting. Say hello. This one's Chan. I still have to name the sea bunny, but it's so cute. Wait, his little ears. Ah, cute. Ah. I'm tempted to just name him Malleus, but like, I don't know if he'd be offended. Should I do two of them? Anyway. Anyways, today I'm talking about how I budgeted for Anime Expo as a broke, neurodivergent, but very passionate weeb girly. Technically, I'm also half otaku, but oh well. But anyways, to sum it up, Anime Expo is basically kind of like the mecca of Japanese culture, especially anime. It is literally the biggest anime convention for North America. So it is literally like the convention to go to. And for me, I've always seen it as like a super important luxury investment I make for myself. And I say luxury investment because you need big bucks in order to enjoy yourself. Realistically, there's a lot you need to save for this convention. The price tag alone is $150 just to get in, I believe, even without tax. So you need to save. Because at Anime Expo, you have figures and you have plushies and there's a lot of cute independent art merch that you will see in a huge alley of sweaty people and stuff like that. Things and areas that aren't necessarily the most neurodivergent friendly either. So there could be a lot of investments and prep work that I personally will spend on in order to have my convention experience there be as comfortable as possible. Thus, let's jump right on into how I saved for Anime Expo as a neurodivergent girly. Specifically, I'm autistic, but who knows if there's anything more. First off, what are the methods that I use to save for Anime Expo? Today we're introducing a concept called an HYSA account, which stands for a high yield savings account. So before I jump into the actual AX budget breakdown, I'm going to be completely financially transparent and say that I saved most of my money in an HYSA, specifically just for Anime Expo. An HYSA account, or a high yield savings account, is basically a regular savings account. However, the interest rate are much higher than a regular one. So for instance, a regular bank account may be like around 0.3% you get in like added interest that you get at the end of the month, right? However, in a high yield savings account, that may be up to like 3 to 5% right now, as of US interest rates on average for HYSA accounts. HYSA accounts may be from banks and online banks such as SoFi, Ally Bank, and many more. So anyways, it may not seem like a lot, but I'm still holding them. Let me put my kids down. Like for instance, let's say theoretically I put maybe $100 in an HYSA account. Then, assuming that the rate is about 5%, I would get perhaps $5 just for having $100 in my HYSA account per month, instead of getting maybe like 50 cents for $100 just sitting in your regular bank account that isn't in HYSA. And that, my friends, is a huge difference. It literally is a whole decimal point over. It is literally, what is that? 10 times more than you would get than just having that money sitting in your regular bank account. Now, given that new concept, I'm using this to build my own little, I like to quote, trust fund essentially. I use my HYSA account to build my own little buckets, which is a little feature that you could find in many HYSA accounts where you could set up little goals essentially, little places you could allocate your money, which basically means like for instance, if you have multiple goals in mind, multiple things you want to save up for or work towards, multiple things you want to save and invest towards in the future or something. Like for instance, I have a bucket for your grad school and eventually my Japan trip this coming end of the year, and even things like emergencies, which by the way you should have. That is finance 101 thing. And for me in particular, I've been wanting so long to go back to Anime Expo for at least the past maybe 5 or 7 years. The last time I went to this was in 2018, but this year, because I'm in a cool time right now, my gap year before I apply for OT schools, I really wanted to be able to go back and go to Anime Expo. I set up a bucket just for Anime Expo. So what I do is put little bits of money aside just for that Anime Expo bucket. And that was the main way I prepped for AX. But on top of that, depending on the bank that you sign up with, you may even put a specific date you want to have that gold bucket matured or done by, basically. But when I created and calculated the amount for this specific gold bucket, I'm not gonna lie, I felt that financial shame I suppose I grew up with in my family. I am both 5th gen Japanese American and 3rd gen Vietnamese American. So for me, as a self-taught, financial free, neurodivergent girly bro, I feel a bit of shame for always allocating of money. That seems like a lot. What I'm working on as well is just working on value-based spending. The best way essentially to create your bucket is to find these specifics. Break down these specific goals and things you need to save up for.